Hey, it's Chris from Web Motorworks. For those of you who don't know, we're making a crate engine that's going to have an electric motor in it, and it's going to go in my 36 Haze over there. And I'm just going to go over a few things, what I'm working on, how to make these patterns. They're going to be cast out of aluminum. But first, let's have a quick look at our little motor here. It's not that little, it's 150 pounds, which is a lot lighter than a gas motor, which is 450, 500 pounds. But then, of course, you have the weight of your battery also. So 257 foot-pounds of torque at 0 RPM. And whereas a normal gas motor, of course, your torque, you don't get your full torque till about 5,000 RPM. And another interesting feature about the electric motor, 95% efficient, whereas a gas engine, 20% efficient. So they lose 80% of their heat, 40% through the exhaust manifolds and 40% through the cooling system. So if you want a heater, use a gas engine. So having got this lovely motor, I've noticed all this electrical connections are sticking up fairly high. It's actually 2 inches. And I want to put these controllers, now controller is a computer that tells the motor how to run, how to go faster, slower, all that type of stuff. And I want to put these controllers on top inside my small block Chevy. Yeah, so what I have to do is I'm going to rotate the engine, put these on the side. Now these pieces that I had sent to Jim to get cast, I had to kind of cut it all apart and redo it now because the bolts don't line up now that I've rotated it. And as you can see here, there's air cooling, so we have to have room for the air cooling in there. And then on the other side, the back or the front, it's also going to be mounted on the front. This is part of this is going to be the lower part of the front casing here. So I had to kind of rejig this a little bit because I'm rotating the motor. The other thing is, I'm just going to move these pieces. These controllers, I've got 2 of them. And what I was going to do was have the 2 controllers lined up like this. I have about 19 inches inside the engine. The problem is, I got the plugs here. I don't want the plugs coming out the end or whatever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually offset these controllers. So you're probably wondering, what is this contraption? What this is this is going to fit underneath the controllers. These are going to fit like this, and they're going to be offset so I can get all the wires coming out. So what's going to happen here is this is going to be water cooling. Of course, it's made out of wood right now. It's going to be cast in aluminum, or you could CNC this out of a block of aluminum and cut it out. So I decided to do it with casting. I kind of like casting, and then I can kind of design it as I go. And then the next thing I'm working on, this is going to be the intake manifold. Once again, made out of wood and Bondo. And you know, it's fairly strong, but this will support it when we're tamping all the sand around it. That'll kind of support it. Obviously, I've got a bunch more work to go. This is going to be, this is where the water is going to leave, and what I got here is a fan, a little fan that, instead of your carburetor, we don't need a carburetor on an electric motor. We need an electric fan, and this is going to help cool it. And I'm like, well, that looks a little ugly. Yeah, well, look at this baby. There we go. K&N filter is going to fit on top of that. And then it'll kind of look like it's got a carburetor on it. Because that's sort of what I'm trying to do, is make it look like a small block Chevy. I believe you saw my heads in the first video probably, but there's the head there. Same thing, made out of wood and Bondo. And we'll get that cast out of aluminum, weld everything together, and hopefully the rig works. So I think what we'll do is talk about, on the next video, talk a little bit about batteries. Hopefully I'll have the castings by then. Maybe show you some of the casting process and that. All right, Talk to you later.